So life shapes you. It molds you. It gives you an opportunity to be who you need to be. I mean, it's a necessary. At some point in time, you got to be who you need to be. Like, it is like, so like when people be like I say, going back to the beginning of this conversation, people will tell you, well, don't let their actions change who you really are. But do you even know who you really are? A lot of times you really don't know who you really are, or necessarily who you really can be. Let me say that. You know who you are, but do you know who you can be? Of course, something crossed my mind, and everything is, most of the time, things are circumstantial, right? Like circumstances cause your brain to go into overdrive or whatever the case may be, to start thinking, right? So I was just thinking, right, about life in general, and how life shapes you, and it provides the opportunity for you to be who you need to be. And let me elaborate on that, right? So what I'm saying is, life grants you the opportunity to pick who you want to be. And typically it shapes you to who you have to be. Let me say that, right? So in a lot of cases, you hear people say, people that do things to you, you know what I mean? Like betrayal, or, just, relationships gone bad, whatever the case may be, sibling rivalries, whatever it may be, jealousy, envy in different ways, should come in different shapes and forms. People say, well, don't let their actions change you, right? But I beg to differ on that, as to say that you're given an option, right? And you're given an opportunity in a life experience to experience what a person can do to you, like what a person can be, what people in general can be, what human beings can be. So when a person kind of just, they show you something, this is real time in real life, you have to take that serious. That's an opportunity for you to really understand, well, you gotta be a certain way. You have to be a certain way. It just is what it is. Like, it was what it was. It's not, you ain't dreaming that. So like even looking back, like as a youth, like, so I was born in Southeast, moved to Northeast for like 2 or 3 years or so. Then when I moved back to Southeast when I was about 8 years old, that's kind of like when I was like, like elementary school, early years. I moved back to Southeast. I was in the 3rd grade. I never forget it, right? And and back then, man, people just like, kids would just try you just for no reason, like no reason at all. So I remember, like somebody just like I just felt like I was like tried, like, maybe on like 2 occasions before, everybody was like, okay, you cool. But at least, like, when I was coming up, people would try you, you know what I'm saying? So you had to, you had to at least fight. So you had, like, right, that decision right there, I had to be who I had to be, right? I'm gonna have to fight back, or either I'm gonna get bullied and picked on every day, right? So I fought back, right? And I just think back at that, because it's like, right then and there, I was put in a different environment where the kids where I was at previous, they were like, they were just kids. Wasn't nobody really thinking like that. But when I moved to Southeast, the kids wanted to, like, they wanted to test you. They was on different type time. I was like 3rd grade. People like, kids cussing. I was like in like shock. But nevertheless, I just think back to that moment where I realized I had to be what I had to be in that circumstance. It was a choice, though. I had a choice. I could just be, because like I could be like my mom had like taught me, kind of like, the Christianity thing, like turn the other cheek, be nice, don't do that. But in that environment, it was no way that I could be that. It was no way that I could be that in that environment. Not in that environment, though. Because that environment, that wasn't conducive to that environment. So life shapes you. It molds you. It gives you an opportunity to be who you need to be. I mean, it's a necessary. At some point in time, you got to be who you need to be. Like, it is like, so like when people be like I say, going back to the beginning of this conversation, people to tell you, well, don't let their actions change who you really are. But do you even know who you really are? A lot of times you really don't know who you really are, or necessarily who you really can be. Let me say that. You know who you are, but do you know who you can be? You know, you have to be able to certainly adapt, but not only adapt, just be able to understand circumstances and make choices, and make the choices at the right time. So, I don't know, I guess just thinking about that, life grants you the opportunity and the experience for you to be who you need to be. You know, just be who you need to be. Like, that's life. It's necessary. It shapes you. And you have two decisions. That's everything in life. I feel like you have two decisions, like, no doubt about it. You have two decisions coming up. Like, it's coming up. You just think about all the decisions, like, that you made, where you had to adapt to pass through that environment. You had to adapt. And it's always two choices. Like, you know, and I think back several occasions where, like, I went through different phases of my life and becoming who I needed to become, because, like, you're gonna get pushed, you're gonna get tried, you're gonna get tried, but everybody is not innately just good. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you might be on some type of time where you're like, oh, you know, you just good, but when people show you what's up, you know, yeah, you gotta adapt. It is what it is. A lot of times, you know, you forget. You know, we forget in our situations of comfortability. Like, we get comfortable and we forget. But yeah, you need to be who you need to be, and it's okay. It's okay to change. People just be like, you know, shooting that down, but it's necessary for you to change. As to, you know, in hostile environments, you got to change. You just can't be like, you can't be a sheep around a bunch of wolves. That's, you know, like, as they say. But, you know, it is what it is. You gotta adapt. And that's not like saying, like, you stay in that negative zone or that aggressive stage, but, you know, it's necessary to allow life to shape you. As it's showing you who you need to be, you need to be that person, because it's necessary. It's just necessary for your survival. No doubt about it. Life is about survival. Don't ever let nobody tell you different. It's about survival. And, you know, people are, you know, out, you know, people are not always good. So you have to be who you need to be in certain situations. And that don't make you, you know, end all be all, like a bad person. Doesn't make you a bad person. But you know who you need to be for that moment, for that time, for that season, however you want to put it, whatever words you need to be. But I just wanted to mention that, though. Life shapes you. The experiences of life, they shape you as to who you need to be. It's necessary for you to be that person, that particular person. So, and that's a positive. Think about that in a positive way, not in a negative way, in a positive way. Think about that in a real positive way. In a real positive way. You know, as they say, hard times make strong men, you know, and easy times tend to make weak men.